There's a prophecy in Jeremiah that says the first thing that's going to happen is God is going to send the fishers to fish the Jewish people back to Israel. Then he's going to send the hunters to chase them back to Israel. This is what is so incredible. Why did the economic collapse happen in America? I think one of the reasons was the same thing back in 586 BC, the Babylonian captivity. They were all taken to Babylon. Well, what happens? The time comes to rebuild the temple, but a lot of the Jewish people wanted to stay, back in Babylon. Hey, they've had a great life, 70 years. Maybe they grew up in Babylon. Why do we want to go back to Israel and rebuild the temple? God, I believe, wants the temple to be rebuilt. And the Jewish people, hey, they're having economic prosperity here in America. There is no war. They don't want to go back to Israel. God wants the Jewish people to Aliyah. He wants them to return to Israel. Matter of fact, in the Bible it says God wanted them in Jerusalem 3 times a year. There, number one, on Passover, so they would see God's son Yeshua die. He wanted them all there in Jerusalem on Pentecost to see the Spirit poured out. Prophetically, in these last days, he wants all the Jews to Aliyah, back to Jerusalem, to see his miraculous return on the Feast of Tabernacles when he begins to tabernacle with man. But the problem is, we have 6 million Jews that aren't in Israel. Why do they not want to go back to Israel? Hey, there's wars. The economy is not that great, they feel, and so they want to stay in America. Here, the United States economy has gone down. But guess what? The economy in Israel is booming. They're doing fantastic. So what does God do? He takes the economy down, the global economy, the United States economy, and he has the economy going great in Israel. Matter of fact, they're finding oil, all this oil, because God wants to have an incentive to have the Jew go back to Israel. There's no persecution to speak of really in the United States. You want to know what I think is going to happen? Because God wants the Jews back in Israel, where that's where they belong. That's home for them. So I believe God is going to bring major persecution to the Jews around the world to drive them back. Because as I said in Jeremiah, first he's going to send the fishers to fish them, then he's going to send the hunters to chase them back to Israel. Well, what is going to happen, I believe, and I could be wrong, but what my high probability thinking is, you're going to see a major war, like I said, break out. And sometime between 2014 and 2015 with Israel and the surrounding Arab countries, or maybe even Iran, when you understand what's going on with Iran, trying to build a nuclear weapon with the sole intent of destroying Israel. If Israel ends up completely destroying Damascus, as Isaiah 17 talks about, if Israel destroys Iran, you know the world mindset is always blame the victim. Well, Israel's the victim. They're going to blame Israel for destroying Damascus, for destroying Iran, when all they're trying to do is to protect themselves. And so what's going to happen? All the Jews around the world, in America, I think you could be seeing terrorist attacks breaking out all over the United States, and you're going to see major persecution, which is going to drive the Jews back to Israel from around the world.